The Theory of Stupidity by Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. One may protest against evil. It can be exposed and, if need be, prevented by use of force. Evil always carries within itself the germ of its own subversion.
We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
In that it leaves behind in human beings at least a sense of unease. Against stupidity, we are defenseless.
I think that this is such a, I think that this is a, this is of course a...
Neither protests nor the use of force accomplish anything here. Reasons fall on deaf ears. Facts that contradict one's prejudgment simply need not be believed.
What difference at this point does it make?
In such moments, the stupid person even becomes critical. And when facts are irrefutable, they are just pushed aside as inconsequential.
Well, I've been stabbed twice in London. That's the basis. There you go.
It's a big city. Sadly, that happens sometimes.
As incidental. In all this, the stupid person, in contrast to the malicious one, is utterly self-satisfied and, being easily irritated, becomes dangerous by going on the attack.
Oh, get back, hey, get back. Hey.
I want them taken into the city town square, hung from their ankles, and...
How dare you!
For that reason, greater caution is called for than with a malicious one. Never again will we try to persuade the stupid person with reasons.
Threats toward trans people are threats toward all women.
For it is senseless and dangerous.
I shouldn't be up here.
If we want to know how to get the better of stupidity, we must seek to understand its nature.
And I'm a knucklehead.
This much is certain, that it is in essence not an intellectual defect, but a human one.
Whiteness prevents white people from connecting to humanity.
There are human beings who are of remarkably agile intellect, yet stupid.
The XXXY chromosomes are insufficient.
And others who are intellectually quite dull, yet anything but stupid.
I'm also weird. Sharon, forgive me, this is embarrassing.
We discover this to our surprise in particular situations. The impression one gains is not so much that stupidity is a congenital defect,
that Jesus Christ himself was a radical feminist.
Or that, under certain circumstances, people are made stupid, or that they allow this to happen to them.
And finding that, the system of capitalism and racism, and white supremacy, etc., and Islamophobia have all been used, to colonize lands, right, to take resources from other people. And so this is like a long trajectory, and we're just seeing the manifestations of that continuation.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
We note further that people who have isolated themselves from others or who live in solitude manifest this defect less frequently than individuals or groups of people inclined or condemned to sociability.
What is the best country in the world?
Mexico, definitely for sure Mexico.
Mexico?
Mexico.
So why do you think these people don't want to go back?
Things are better over here in America, and they're going to try their best to be here.
Well, you just said Mexico's the best country in the world.
It is. But I think that...
And so it would seem that stupidity is perhaps less a psychological than a sociological problem.
What is a nice racist?
A nice racist is me.
It is a particular form of the impact of historical circumstances on human beings, a psychological concomitant of certain external conditions. Upon closer observation, it becomes apparent that every strong upsurge of power in the public sphere, be it of a political or of a religious nature.
And one of the problems is dogs. And actually, this isn't just about the fact that a lot of Muslims find dogs very difficult.
Why do Muslims find dogs difficult?
Because a lot of they don't have dogs as pets. They have dogs as
But that shouldn't stop other people taking their dogs to the country.
Infects a large part of humankind with stupidity.
I am here today as the mother of a proud trans man. I am here today as the aunt of a proud trans man. My best friend's kid is trans, and my kid's best friend is trans. My wife and I, our lives are filled with the most amazing, beautiful, brave, trans people, young and old, but especially young.
It would even seem that this is virtually a sociological psychological law. The power of one needs the stupidity of the other. The process at work here is not that particular human capacities, for instance, the intellect, suddenly atrophy or fail.
And so I think what we are seeking is a return to a rules-based order that eliminates the hypocrisies around when too often in the West we look the other way for inconvenient populations to act out these paradoxes.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Instead, it seems that under the overwhelming impact of rising power, humans are deprived of their inner independence and, more or less consciously, give up establishing an autonomous position toward the emerging circumstances.
I thought it would be a powerful opportunity to speak directly to a person of color and confront our racism and also apologize for the white supremacist systems that oppress Ben. So, do you want to go first?
Well, on behalf of myself and my fellow white people, I apologize. It is not you, it is us. As long as I'm standing, I will do my best to challenge it.
The fact that the stupid person is often stubborn must not blind us to the fact that he or she is not independent. In conversations with him or her, one virtually feels that one is dealing not at all with a person, but with slogans, catchwords, and the like that have taken possession of him or her. He or she is under a spell, blinded, misused, and abused in his or her very being.
It's hard as a racialized and transgender delegate to sometimes use this card and speak up, speak to somebody in front of me in line and ask, hey, this pertains to multiple intersecting parts of my lived experience. I'd like to speak. I was rejected when I talked. And it's frustrating when these are my rights being directly under attack right now in Alberta, and that a cisgender woman had spoken over me. I don't know. I hope that in the future the federal NDP will also have a broader interpretation of the equity cards for speakers. That's all. Thank you.
I will invite delegates to assist me in better using the card by forming a straight...
Having thus become a mindless tool,
I should be back in school.
The stupid person will also be capable of any evil and at the same time incapable of seeing that it is evil.
As a woman who has borne 2 children, I can affirm that I felt something sacred happening in my gestating body during those pregnancies. I can also attest that I felt God's presence with me as I made the decision to end 2 pregnancies. And I felt no guilt, no shame, no sin.
This is where the danger of diabolical misuse lurks, for it is this that can once and for all destroy human beings. Yet at this very point it becomes quite clear that only an act of liberation, not instruction, can overcome stupidity.
And it has failed to deliver for the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are in this country.
Here we must come to terms with the fact that in most cases a genuine internal liberation becomes possible only when external liberation has preceded it. Until then, we must abandon all attempts to convince the stupid person.
We should treat our southern border like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front.
This state of affairs explains why in such circumstances our attempts to know what the people really think are in vain, and why, under these circumstances, this question is so irrelevant for the person who is thinking and acting responsibly. The word of the Bible that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom declares that the internal liberation of human beings to live the responsible life before God is the only genuine way to overcome stupidity. But these thoughts about stupidity also offer consolation, and they utterly forbid us to consider the majority of people to be stupid in every circumstance.
Think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that.
You use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
It really will depend on whether those in power expect more from people's stupidity than from their inner independence and wisdom. That was taken from a letter Bonhoeffer wrote from prison to 3 friends, part of a conspiracy to overthrow Hitler, on the 10th anniversary of Hitler's ascension to the chancellorship of Germany.